Okay, welcome to part 3 of How to Be a Man. So I know y'all thought that we kind of went deep in the last one. But remember, the shorter the video, the shorter the quote, the shorter the series, the deeper we gonna go. And if anyone has been following any of my content so far, that was not news to you. Anyway, here's part 3. A man knows how to treat a woman. So there's different ways to treat women, and we're gonna talk about all of them. Let's go with the most difficult one first. Why? Because I feel like it. A man knows how to treat a woman romantically. Now this means that the man will know in a romantic setting whether he is just seeing this woman from interest or a hookup or this is his spouse, his fiance, his girlfriend, his person of interest, his significant other. He knows how to treat her in that regard. In other words, as the caveman would say, I man, you woman. It's not a derogatory attitude that I'm getting at. It's not in a way to say that you are above or beneath your female counterpart. No, of course not. And if you was already a man, you would have explained that to her. But when it comes to a romantic setting, women don't understand that men don't romanticize everything, at least not the way that they do, most men. So what we as men have to do to the woman and for the woman in a romantic setting is to set the tone romantically. What do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. What I mean by that is, when it comes to romance, you have to please the woman romantically. She wants to feel wanted. She wants to feel wanted by a man. She wants to feel wanted by her man. She wants to feel wanted by you. And who are you? You are a man. So automatically, you would listen to her. You would hear and understand and try to grasp the concepts that she's trying to explain to you. Now, for females who you might potentially be attracted to, I would suggest you direct them to what men like. Because one thing that a man would do to and for a woman in a romantic setting is show her what he likes, and she would do the same vice versa. But for us as men in that situation, what we would do is to reciprocate and to acknowledge, to respect her wishes romantically and follow through with our actions. So a man knows how to treat a woman based on everything I just said romantically. Now let's go in the complete opposite direction because I like to freestyle. A man knows how to treat a woman platonically. This is how you would treat your sister or your cousin, hopefully. Any female that you do not see in a romantic light. Any female that hopefully is not your significant other. You know how to treat them. You know how to set boundaries. You know how to make sure that this woman stays here, your significant other stays there. That don't mean that they can't interact with each other and they're not allowed to meet and whatnot. But you understand in your own mind what the separation and differentiation is and what that means for you as a man. And then once you understand that, you would then treat this platonic relationship as such. In other words, a man knows how to treat a woman as a regular human being, one that is separated from any kind of sexual fantasies, thoughts, and actions. So this one is probably the most simple one, and I know for those of you that understand what I'm doing here, you probably would have said, oh, you should have done this one first and ease us into it. No, that's what I did in the first one. Keep up. So a man knows how to treat a woman physically. Now, what that means is, even if she's a bodybuilder, that don't mean you just walk up to her and slap across her face if she teeth your weights in the gym. That was an example. might have been a little hyperbolic, might have been a little exaggerated. But what I'm getting at is, if I am a man and I see a woman, regardless of how she looks, whether she big and tough or small and dainty, whether she old and gray or young and whatever the opposite of gray is, she's a woman. And as a man, regardless of her sexual orientation or how she feels about me, I, as a man, have to know how to treat her physically as a woman. And what that means is I don't put my hands on her. Now, what that also means is she gonna have to keep her hands to herself, but that's whether or not she is a woman. But we ain't here to talk about that. What we are here to talk about is how to be a man. And right now, one of the ways on how to know how to be a man is to know how to treat a woman physically. And simply just don't put your hands on her, bro. Don't disrespect her physicality. Don't sexually assault her. Don't touch her inappropriately. Don't touch her without her consent. Don't touch her. Treat her as a regular human being. You treat her like a platonic human, but more so to the point where you don't have to touch her if you don't have to touch her. So if you don't have to touch her, then don't touch her. Simple as. And lastly, a man knows how to treat a woman emotionally. Now, if you as a man like me, sometimes the emotions ting, man, you better go somewhere with all of that. In other words, I don't always feel like talking about emotions. I don't always feel everything. A man isn't necessarily wired the same way a woman is wired emotionally. We're not naturally in tune with our emotions. Now, that doesn't mean that we have an inability to cry. It don't mean that we can't laugh, we can't be mad, we can't be scared. We have fears, we have feelings, right? But we don't lead with these feelings. Now, with that being said, as a man and being aware of these things about yourself, if you are like that, you would have to then know and understand that the woman and the woman who is being emotional in this current time is not like that. In fact, she's most likely the opposite. But you as a man have to know how to treat her, how to deal with her emotions emotionally. What do I mean by this? Well, what I mean is you have to use your emotions to help her emotions. Let's use the romantic situation, for example. If your significant other, whether it be your girlfriend, your baby mother, or your fiance, or your wife, your significant other, when she is being emotional, she's sad, she's angry, she's mad, or just crazy, or she's happy, the first thing a man would do is to acknowledge her emotion. This is what a man does. This is how a man treats a woman emotionally, with emotions. So you might not necessarily feel happy when she's happy, but acknowledging that she is happy and simply being glad. You don't gotta be happy, you can just be glad that she feels happy. That's something that a man does. Another one is a man would sympathize, even if you don't feel sorry. A lot of guys had this speech. Oh, well, you ready? You think you're ready for marriage? You think you're ready to be in a relationship? Huh, that's cute. All right, how about this? Say sorry. And the next person's like, what? I ain't even do nothing. What you mean say sorry? No, say sorry. Yeah, I ain't do nothing. Why would I just say sorry? Say sorry. Okay, fine, sorry. Okay, good. My phone always trying to interrupt me. So what it means is when they do that, when they was doing that, their strategy was for you to understand that, okay, sometimes a man's responsibility is to apologize for no reason. I don't necessarily agree with that. If you are not apologetic, you ain't gotta say sorry. But that's just me. I ain't in your relationship, babe. Don't listen to me on that one. That's one thing out of this entire series that you do not have to follow. But you have to still acknowledge that she is sad, that she is angry, that she's feeling some type of negative feelings and emotions. You have to acknowledge that and you have to sympathize. If you feel like you have to issue out an apology, then go ahead, do what you gotta do. But it it requires some level of emotion from you. In other words, you can't be a dead corpse. You can't just be like, oh, sorry you feel that way. Because then she's going to adapt another emotion to that. It's like, oh, and this is the kicker. They'll always say something like, you don't even care. Nah, you mad. Because how you can tell me I don't even care? Like, obviously I'm sitting here, right? I'm talking to you, right? And all that stuff. Yeah, cool. But you ain't being a man about it, because a man knows how to treat a woman emotionally. And the way that he would do that is by including some of his emotions. Now, that don't mean that if she happy, you gotta be mad, or if she happy, you gotta be happy. But you have to choose the appropriate emotion. And since we have a better handle on our emotions, we are wired to control our emotions more securely. So we should therefore be able to say, all right, you know what? I understand. Let me just take the reins on this. I'll take point. I'll be the leader. I'll do this. You don't gotta say it. Say it in your head, because that can make her mad still. Say to yourself, all right, she's feeling this emotion. I think my emotion of state emotion here will best complement her in this situation. Because when you do it for real, when you use your emotion for real, she'll be able to notice. Women are emotional creatures. So if you use even a slight bit of your emotion, she gonna notice. But if you keep all of it out, she gonna put one on you and say, oh, you mad at it? You upset at it? Oh, sorry, I make you feel this way and all that stuff. And they only can make you more upset. So if you ain't already mad, you better make sure she knows. Because that's what a man does. A man knows how to treat a woman emotionally. And a man knows how to treat a woman in general. Anyway, this was a short series, however long the videos were. But this is how to be a man in its most basic form. If you need to watch the video over and over and over, go ahead. But if you want to get, let's call it level 2, you want to get deeper into it, look out for BTSW Presents Grown Man Conversations, because if you thought this was deep, we going in, man. We going in, because the world needs more men. And that's not an opinion, that's a fact, okay? We need more men. We need more men presently, like now. So let's grow up, boys. Let's become men and then speak to one another, and let's get some stuff done. Anyway, thank you for watching this series. Please share it. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. The conversation is never done. So let's keep talking.